Jody, of course the team are on a bit of a poor run of form at the minute. What needs to happen? What is being done to turn things around and turn that corner?
Yeah, the poor form is, it can be misleading in some ways. The last 2 games we've had very high percentage possession, very few chances against us, so we are pleased with that. But at the same time, I'm not a fool. I share the same frustration that supporters and staff and all the players share. You know, we're conceding soft goals from set plays. We need to stop that happening, and you know, we do work on it, but fundamentally it comes down to individual battles. This Saturday just gone, we conceded 2 sloppy set plays to Maidenhead after controlling a lot of the game. Elliot Justin's not had to make a save in the game, and we fall foul to 2 set plays where Mitch Brundle unfortunately got beaten in individual duels with Remy Clarima. So we are working on it. Mitch was tight on both of them. Unfortunately, the fella's got the first touch and it sort of crept in at the far post, and it's really disappointing. But we've created good chances ourselves and not taking them. So we're not silly. We know that results need to be better. We know that people don't want to hear that injuries are an excuse, but they are an excuse. They're a very justifiable excuse. If you're missing key forward players and key central defenders for a long period of time, it's going to affect you in both boxes, and that's currently where we're losing games, in both boxes. We're controlling possession, we're creating opportunities, we're not conceding many chances, but where it really matters in the 2 penalty areas, we're not been quite good enough, and that's all of us. It's not just the forwards. Kenny Clark missed a couple of good chances at the weekend, so it's not just the forwards. And the set plays we conceded, it's not just the defenders. Al McQueen on the edge of the box against Chorley, and Mitch Brundle's man on both corners this week. So it's a collective. We've all got to work much harder to not be beaten in individual battles at set plays. If we do that, we've taken 4 points from the last 2 games. If we don't concede from set plays. So we've got to get better at that individually. We can't be beaten in individual battles. And we've got to be more clinical. We have to be more clinical. Everyone has to step up. It's not just for players that are missing, waiting for them to come back. It's about the players in the team. You know, can we go forward and score from a set play? Can a big centre half go and power a header in out of nothing for us? Can a midfielder bang one in from 25 yards as the Chorley boy did? These things have to happen. We all need to step up, and we all need to fight very, very hard to make these very fine margins turn in our favour.
And you touch on the injury situation, so of course no secret. Can you give us any updates on the personnel that might be nearing a return or are still struggling maybe?
Obviously Crowley played 90 minutes at the weekend, came through it well. Manny Onarise has been back in training this week. Whether or not he'll be ready for Saturday is not my decision to make. Ben House is back in with us. Whether or not he'll be ready for Saturday again won't be my decision. That will come from the medical team and the strength and conditioning coach and of course the manager who will ultimately pick the team. But there are some positive signs. Baggers and Graham trained for the first time today, so there are some positive signs in terms of the injuries.
And the next 2 games are of course cup ties, depending on whether we draw or not on Saturday. Do you think it's a good thing to be able to take the players' minds off the league form perhaps for a little while?
No, I'm not sure. I think the most important thing is that we continue with improving our performances, but ultimately we need to get a result. We need to get a result in whatever competition we're playing in. I think it's really important to start building confidence, start building momentum, start getting positive results as soon as possible. And if it was a league game Saturday, I'd be saying the same thing as with it being an FA Trophy game. I don't want to come out of the next week with another 2 negative results. And
yourself, Peter, Terry, you always sort of mention the positivity that you find in and around training and the group. Are you still finding that, and is that a benefit that this squad has that may get us out of this rut?
Well, training's been good in Peter's absence. Not any better, not any worse. Just been good. We're not suffering the effect of Peter not being here. We work on the things that he wants us to work on. The players generally seem in good spirits. They're not in good spirits on a Monday morning after losing, and you wouldn't want them to be. But you know, they're together and they're working hard. You know, they have crosswords. I think we'd be silly to sit here and say they don't. If you've been around a football camp, when you concede from set plays, when you miss chances, when individual errors occur, I think it's healthy that they have crosswords, and you know, I don't think that's a problem. I think that's a sign of a group becoming closer when they can actually criticise each other and find solutions. So everyone's working hard is what I can say. We're working in a direction that's set by the manager, and we're doing our utmost to get it right for Saturday. And every player wants to play. The boys who are on their comeback and their rehab, they want to get back out there as soon as possible. And whether it's the league, the FA Trophy or the Essex Senior Cup, we want to win our next game.
And obviously it's Sutton United at Gander Green Lane at the weekend. Played them for the third time now this season. 1 win, 1 defeat. How do you see the weekend going?
Obviously, like you say, we're familiar with them. It was only a couple of weeks ago, and of course we've got access to all the footage. We've got a fair idea how they'll set up, and we've got a fair idea of their principles and how they'll play. And you know, we've got players in their team that we admire, and obviously there's players and areas in their team where we think we can exploit. So we'll work hard towards doing that. We'll be well prepared, but the most important thing is that we get ourselves right. And I reiterate back, the things we can control. So, i.e., players in individual battles, players when they get goal scoring opportunities, we have to be clinical. You could be the most tactically astute team in the world, the most technically gifted team in the world. If you lose your man on the corner, or you get beaten in a fair jump and he headers it first and they score, you're going to keep falling short. If you create clear-cut openings and you don't take them, you're going to keep falling on the wrong side of these fine margins, and that's happening at the moment. I do think when the competition for places is back, not just the perceived better players, just the fact that there's competition, it raises the bar. It raises the intensity when that competition's there, and we need that back out there. We're getting that with 3 or 4 back in training now. The intensity goes up a notch. The team isn't clear, you know, it doesn't pick itself, and everyone's fighting to be in that team for Saturday. And I feel as though, you know, we'll be in a good place come Saturday to go and get a positive result.